She even starts in a water car with someone named Bobby, and he wants to surprise his girlfriend Laris. So he covers her eyes and takes her to the opening, the most expensive restaurant in the city, which is in a skyscraper. Allie is there with Laris. Of course, she's shocked. Not just anyone can get into this restaurant, especially since it's just open. I mean, good morning and all. Anyway, they go up in the elevator, and the elevator attendant tells them she's proud of the engineers who finished this project 5 whole months ahead of schedule. Laris is shocked, surprised, and confused at that moment, and she tells Bobby that she's really worried about this whole thing. Anyway, they arrive at the restaurant, and the staff member in charge of invitations tells him that his name isn't on the list. So of course, Bobby says, "How come?" and winks at him, saying, "I'm friends with Jake." At that moment, the staff member replies, "What are you talking about? Not Jake, we fired him this morning." So Bobby takes advantage of the staff being distracted and sneaks into the restaurant. Then Iris tells Bobby, "Just act normal, don't upset anyone. We're already inside the restaurant now." So Bobby says to her, "Wait, let me just grab a few of those nice balls for the guys, then we'll go." He goes to get them, but finds that the last cup has already been taken, so he goes back and finds her there. She looks out the window from that great height, and she's scared. But at the same time, she's amazed that he brought her here. She feels a sense of respect for him, realizing how important it is to take a deep breath in a place like this. Iris wants to go back and says she's going to the bathroom. On her way, she looks down and sees that the floor is all glass, and she can see everything below her. At this point, she gets even more anxious and runs to the bathroom. And at that moment, a piece of the chandelier falls to the ground. The floor cracks, and Iris sees a boy who looks perfect, smiling at her. And then she follows after them. By the way, she's actually working as a singer in the casino. That's what it means. So at that moment, Iris tells Lars that he looks tired. But then Iris tells her that she's here with her boyfriend and that she's pregnant. He asks how she could tell him that she's pregnant. So the singer then tells Lars, "As long as he loves you, he'll be happy." After that, Iris goes to Bobby. He took her and went up with her to the highest part of the tower, and she looked radiant with love and happiness. At that moment, we see the Barami family. He starts throwing silver coins from the top of the tower, so a security guard comes to him and respectfully tells him that the money he's throwing could hit someone on the head. He asks him to take the 640 train, then we go back to the 2 zeros. The beauty is in the Nubian house, and they loved each other. At that moment, both of them in unison say to each other that they want to confess something to one another. And after they kept saying, "You go first. No, you go first. No, you go first. No, you go first." He got down on one knee, took out the ring, and said to her, "Will you marry me, my love?" So of course, she immediately said yes. But she said, "I want to tell you something. I'm pregnant because of those forbidden stories of mine." But the problem is that Marhal Ramajni Fada, so he got involved in the gossip and the mess in the fan. Let's get back to the people. They were dancing and jumping on the glass that cracked from the crystal chandelier, even when they were all standing on the glass. They took the 540 train, so the glass broke and scattered. Then you see Bobbio standing, so he said to him. And then the elevator comes down, and of course, an elevator with such a heavy load stops, and everyone took the 540 train. So he told them not to take it from the stairs. But the son of the lady went down first, and after everything that broke was broken, they all ended up trapped. Damn you, Lantera, you troublemaker. Then he made it worse with the chaos he caused that day, setting the whole place on fire, and the destruction happening to them was unbelievable. She came and saw Ibn Set, who was singing and dancing at the time, and she was looking for a way out so they could escape from him, and suddenly the casino. The group splits into two, and most people lean to one side, and the only thing that will balance the other side is a piano. And suddenly the group, coin, silver,
The boys.
at that moment, it falls on the piano, and it makes him run to the other side, the second half, and everyone falls. And I put him on the 6 o'clock train. Stop, my son, Uncle Silver. Hold his hand. Are you sane? I want to tell you that the boy is the son of Wassel. And he went up the building, and while he was running, he fell at that moment on the piano and split it in half. Better, better. What else do we have left with you? The arse and the little boy, they're the only ones left. But I want to reassure you, they took the side and came down from above at that moment. He planted onions, and the hot skewer hit their faces. When they hear that, they think it's Suede. But that was Suede, my daughter. Her name is Stephanie. She was dreaming all of this in the first place, sitting in a lecture. This is something about you, and you know it was a dream. But I thought I'd tell it anyway, just to get you in the mood. And now, if you're going to ask me, who is Stephanie? Her, should I tell you? Keep going and you'll know everything. Not everything. Why are you in such a hurry? God, I'm not doubting her at all, but he's always rushing, asking, where's Zinjako? Where's Zinjako? Where's Zinjako? Where did it happen? What? Man, I'm not rushing. Just wait. Something good is coming. Stephanie screams again, but this time, she's waking up her roommate. So Stephanie tells her roommate that she's having a nightmare. This nightmare is about her grandmother, Iris. Yes, Stefani is Iris's granddaughter. See, you figured it out from the preserved companions. How did you know? Anyway, her roommate tells Stefani that she needs to live with her grandmother. Let me save you from all the panic attacks that keep happening to you and make you panic every day. And really, the next day, Stefani packs her things and travels to her family. She goes to her father and asks him about her mother's old things. Her father tells her that ever since her mother left, he threw her things away. Then we see Charlie, Stefani's brother, coming down from his room and heading to their cousins. So Stephanie happily tells him that she will go with him in the car. The boy, Charlie, was sitting with his headphones on and looked like he was upset about something. So Stephanie, she tried to lighten the mood a bit and joke around with him, and she found out that Charlie was upset because she left him and went off to college. So Stephanie happily tells Charlie that she wants to tell him a secret, but he has to promise not to tell anyone. So Stephanie happily says, tell me, I promise I won't tell anyone. And then Stephanie tells him the secret that she dreams about their grandmother dying a horrible death. So he starts making fun of her and says, I thought you were pregnant. Anyway, after that, they arrive at their cousin's place, who also greet them in a way that looks just like them. So she leaves them and goes to her aunt, who hugs her and greets her warmly. Probably the best hug in the whole movie. Anyway, her uncle also came, thankfully, and greeted her. So she asks him about her grandmother. The man kept dodging the question, talking here and there, and she asked him again. So he told her, Grandma, my dear, is kind of living in her own world, sending us messages that we're going to die. So we just considered her dead. You jerk, your mother's still alive. Anyway, the uncle kept dodging the question, left her and walked away, leaving her confused. At that moment, she looked at her when she brought her in and told her that she was tired of these nightmares and needed to know where her grandmother was. After a lot of pleading, she finally made up her mind and killed her. Don't you dare open the last drawer in the kitchen, please, I swear. Anyway, despite all that, Ankaba and Angaya went and opened the last drawer in the kitchen. Of course, just like that. And at that moment, she found letters with pictures of her grandmother in the same place that Stephanie kept dreaming about, where her grandmother was dying. So she happily took the clue to her grandmother. Stephanie arrives at the address and finds a strange, fortified house. They were entering a military zone. No entry or photography allowed. Stephanie rings the bell, and Iris answers through the device connected to the door, telling her that no one is allowed in. Stephanie then says, I'm Katita's granddaughter, and I need to talk to you. So Iris tells her, come in, but leave anything in your pocket in this box. After that, the door opens, and Stephanie does as she's told and enters. Then Iris sits on the chair at a certain angle and says, you really do look like your grandmother, mashallah. She continues, where's your mom? Stephanie replies that her mom left them the house and disappeared when she was only 10 years old. Anyway, Stephanie then says, what's important now, Grandma, is that I dream about you every day, that you were at the casino and people were dying before anything happened. Sayatet tells Stephanie that she looks like her, and then Sayatet starts telling her what happened on the day at the casino. Iris, who is the grandmother now, when she was going out with Bobby to the casino, she went into a state as if she was dreaming about what was going to happen, and everything she saw actually happened. So when Bobby came to propose to her, she knew that everything would happen exactly as she saw it. So at that moment, she panicked.
And she took it from him.
That's silver money, and she ran to the mic. And she told them that if they didn't leave now, we would all die. And she really saved a lot of people, because some people stayed and continued in the casino, and the casino collapsed on them and they died. So Stephanie will say, thank God I went to him. Sometimes she remembers him. The rest of the people she saved also left and died later. I mean, after a while. Each one in a different accident in their own way, and only 2 were left. I'm the only one still alive, that's why, my daughter. I'm sitting here, protecting myself and protecting you too. You might ask me, how is it that everyone who was in the casino is now gone, just like that? Iris dreamed exactly, the one who set fire in the bathroom and listened to Iris and left the casino. After a while, I found out he really did set himself on fire. It was said that Izas kissed his face in the dream, and he listened to Iris and left too. After a while, Izas also kissed his face and said goodbye, so Iris knew that the 6-3 train is coming and it won't leave you. And she was the last one to get on the train in the dream, so she will also be the last one to get on the train in reality. And with a simple calculation, if the dream came true exactly on the day of the casino, who got on the train? Let me show you, Iris. So there was no family or grandchildren, and therefore, if the 6-3 train happens, the other trains will start taking the family members one after the other. So, simply put, the family was supposed to die on that day, so the whole family wouldn't exist anymore. So if the family doesn't die, they will keep living. But if the family dies, they will start to die and be joined by the companions. Cancer sat down, so now she will take the 6-3 train, meaning she will ride it along with her dead father, and then it will be the turn of the whole family. So they have to come and live in this house because it's protected and nothing will happen to any of them. And while Iris was sitting explaining to Stephanie, she noticed that the lens was focusing the sunlight and burning a piece of paper. Then Iris took the lens while talking to herself. So Stephanie realized that Taida was really hiding from her. Not at all. Does this make sense between friends? So she told her, okay, Salama, you go ahead. I have some things to do and I won't stay here long. At that moment, Stephanie opened the door and left. The important thing is, after that, Iris stood at the door, afraid to go out because she had been inside for years. But she finally made the decision to go out and went to Stephanie. She told her that she had collected all the methods of the 6-3 strategies that these people used and put them all together in one book. And how do you avoid the things that will happen to you? She said, if you don't believe me, I'll prove it to you right now. And he wanted to pour the protected liquid from the top of the house and let it flow into her ear. And at that moment, The girl was completely enchanted. And finally, I realized that the old lady named Iris, may God have mercy on her, was right. In suffering, Stephanie kept trying to convince her family with her grandmother's words, but no one believed her. And of course, they all acted like they didn't hear her at all, ignoring everything she said. And here, Darlene, Stephanie's mother, who was 10 years old at the time, attends her mother's isolation. So Stephanie decided to leave because she was upset with her mother. Then someone comes and tells her not to leave either, and to act like her. He tries to fix things between them. Secondly, as for the friends who knew, they dug a hole and went to their grandmother, and all of them went except for Stephanie. She stayed at home and saw the book that her grandmother had given her. She read the words at that moment and found that everything had been written for years and years. Iris had been writing about these things and about people. How? She took the cat at 6-3, so Stephanie at that moment felt that her family was in danger. She went to the party to warn them, and indeed, Stephanie arrived at the party. And everything that was drawn in the grandmother's book was there in the garden. Bulldozers, thorns, and digging. It wasn't just grass and night anymore. So at that moment, Stephanie saw with her own eyes everything that was drawn in the book happening right in front of her. The glass fell on the water pump, and at that moment, it turned on. The hose fell on the shovels, so the gardening fork fell onto the lawnmower, just as Uncle Stephanie stepped on the glass and fell to the ground. The machine started cutting the mango tree right in front of all of them, and the first one to get on the 6-3 train was also Stephanie. She knew that death was coming for you, back the hermit, but who would die first? So she decided to draw a map of her game, and she figured out that her cousins and the people's contractor were there because her uncle was the eldest. Then, after that, the train comes in, then it's her mother, then her siblings, and so on. Stephanie gathered with the family and told them what she had concluded, that everyone would die in this place except for two people, her father and her uncle's wife, because they weren't really part of the family. According to her calculation, the first one up is Eric, her eldest cousin, so Eric. As soon as he heard that, he raised his finger and politely excused himself from this crazy gathering. Everyone started to let him go, but Stephanie was still worried about Eric. She kept trying to check on him and told him to be careful, but he cursed at her, turned on his headphones, and ignored her. Eric. He works with piercings and tattoos. And of course, he puts piercings everywhere you can imagine. And of course, you can tell from the lavash kirit earring he has in his nose. Anyway, after he finished his work and was cleaning the shop, a small chain came loose from the fan and got stuck in the lavash kirit earring in his nose. He got stuck and couldn't get himself free. And the alcohol bottle fell, and the shop caught fire with Steven inside. One day, she was sitting with Eric. So Charlie's sister started going to check each other out. Like, what's this? Do you get it? Of course you get it. Charlie took his sister so they could go together and check on Eric, because he wasn't answering his phone. On the way, Charlie finds out that Eric's shop caught fire. Of course, they're all shocked, but the biggest shock was when they stopped the car in front of Eric's house. He appeared safe and nothing had happened to him. And of course, he cursed her out and told her that he managed to save himself at the last moment before his shop caught fire. And Stephanie was listening to him at that moment, while at the same time looking at the street. She started noticing drawings in her grandmother's book, like a ball, a trash can, and a garbage truck. So Stephanie happily started warning about the garbage truck. Eric raised his finger as if objecting, then went to a car, rubbed against it, kissed it, and licked it. Anyway, after that, Stephanie kept worrying about him. Then her sister Jenny came out of the house, saw them, made fun of them, left, and put her headphones on her ears. And while she was walking the kids, they kicked the ball at her head, so she flipped into the trash bin, just as the bin was being lifted to be emptied into the truck. The problem is, inside the truck, there's a compactor that crushes and shreds the trash. Of course, I was shocked. They all ran to the truck to stop it. And the guy looked like he was playing kabanga, and he kept doing, I don't even know what kabanga is, honestly. It's so annoying. Which means he just kept dancing, So at that moment, I was reassuring them not to worry. She won't die. It's not her turn. Eric is the one whose turn it is. And indeed, Stephanie got into the car and held Jenny's hand to help her up. But then the press crushed her thigh, and her face splattered onto Stephanie's face, so Jenny ended up splattering Stephanie. She was sitting there sad because she miscalculated, and here she was, talking to her aunt's wife and told her she couldn't believe what was being said, but after Jenny's death, things changed. So Eric isn't even her son or related to the family, and they adopted him because they couldn't have children, so Stephanie was right, and her calculations were correct. At this point, everyone's attention turned to their younger cousin Bobby. Bobby wasn't a solution, except that he believed her. And then he started asking her if there was anything she could do. So Stephanie, at that moment, she tells them that someone from her book was at the casino and is still alive to this day. And she looks into the book, and she says his name is J.B., so maybe we can go to him and understand from him. How did he do that? And here, Darlene, Stephanie's mother, tells them that she read that name in the letter she used to send. And apparently he works at a hospital in the city. Of course, they got themselves ready to go to the hospital. But Stephanie was worried that something might happen to Bobby. So she suggested that he stay at home. Bobby got scared at that moment and told them that he had heard about many accidents happening at home and that he was afraid to stay alone. So, of course, they took him with them and surrounded him in the street because they were worried about him, and all that. Yuri decided to go with them, and he told Bobby, "You're my brother, and I don't care if it's biological or not. You're my brother." No, the violation has nothing to do with my mom. I don't even know who my mom is, but that's not our topic. They actually enter the hospital in Acre and start looking for general practitioner, and as soon as they find him, they ask him, and general practitioner comes out. That's the little boy that Ars saved a long time ago. And in the dream, that boy had the hot skewer go through his earlobe. He took the 540 train after Ars. So if we follow the curse map, we'll find that this general practitioner will die when Ellis and all your family ride the 540 train. That's why he's still alive until now. So Bobby asks, "Oh, how can we stop this curse?" And then general practitioner tells him, either you kill someone and take their life, or you die and get revived. Honestly, I don't know how to explain this, but should we just move on? I'm sure you get it. The best friend, of course. The power of love, friendship, and the director just says, "Good morning." Anyway, the best friend pulls Bobby aside and says, "Look, while we're in the hospital, if I kill you, they'll save you, revive you, cheer you up, and pamper you. That's the best friend for you." And of course, they started thinking about how they could stop Bobby's heart and bring him back to life. Farouk said to him, "You have a peanut allergy, right? What do you think? So you just take a little lick, and when you're about to die, we'll bring you back to life, God willing." Anyway, let's move away from the movie for a bit. If anyone has ever seen someone die from a peanut allergy, let us know in the comments, because I've never believed it. I only have a strawberry allergy, that's it. But I just get a few red spots, or maybe they're not even that red, but I don't choke or die, My face doesn't swell up and I die or anything. And of course, these aren't my words. This is Ahmed Hafez's script. He's the one who wrote it, not me. As for the companions, let's go back to those silly ones who stand in front of a vending machine to buy peanut chocolate. Of course, the machine got stuck, and they kept banging and hitting it until the sauce jumped out of its place and the bag dropped. They went crying into the room with the magnetic device in front of them, and Bobby started eating, while Eric pulled out the syringe that Bobby was supposed to take. In any emergency situation, the allergy kicked in, and the fatigue started to get worse for him. Suddenly, that x-ray machine turned on and started pulling everything, including blood, in the room, and Eric was the one stuck there. His whole body was pierced. No, wait. His whole body, really? Yeah, his ear, his nose, his chest. And of course, I don't need to tell you. The machine completely pierced him, safely, and he was dying from that allergy. He kept walking until he reached the hallway. We bring Eric, who was already stuck in the machine, and he actually took her and started to calm down. Then the nurse opens the room, and the machine starts pulling out the metals. At that moment, the zipper that was in the machine they bought the peanuts from gets pulled out, and it goes into Bobby's head, so Bobby gets about 6 to a third as well. And that means that Aya, the big brother, is done, and will take it after that. About Darlene's family, her daughter Stephanie, and her little brother Charlie. Darlene is very worried about her kids, and the solution is for them to go live in the house that Zaidat Kal has built. And indeed, they got in the car, and here they are getting ready to get in the car. And at that moment, we see the silver coins of the builder.
That were...
Els put them in her book, and they fell out of the book at that moment. An old lady found them and took them. Mama was with her friends and her kids. They get in the car and arrive at the house, but they don't know how to get in because the door opens from the inside. But at that moment, Stephanie speaks up. She drives the car into the door before asking her mother anything, and luckily the seatbelt got stuck, and he doesn't want to let go of Stephanie. So Stephanie helps her. Her mother tells them, "You two go inside the house. It's not important. I'm fine now." And as the woman is still entering the house, the fire catches in the house and the fire explodes and bursts. As for her friends, she manages to get out safely. But when she looks at Shally, she finds a big piece of metal has fallen on him. She tries to save him, but a pillar falls on her and kills her. So now, Shallow is left not knowing whether to cry for his mother or go help them. Stephanie, who is stuck in the car by the seatbelt, and the car is sinking in the lake. So Shallow goes down to help Stephanie get out. But unfortunately, Stephanie has drowned. However, Shallow tries everything to revive her, and they are happy because it seems like she came back to life after dying and coming back from death again. Is it supposed to be? God knows. In the last scene with Abu al-Sahaba, we see Charlie at the graduation party, and Stephanie Kaib is pinning the flower on his jacket, but poor thing, her hands get hurt. It reminds me of that. Just like how Grandma Ease used to help me at the casino. God rest her soul. Just like Mama. May she rest in peace. Anyway, that's how it is. The old lady who went on Umrah while she was buying biscuits, but of course, the Umrah got stuck in the old train carriage. There's no point in the graduation party before. Steve knows him with his doctor friend, so Steve tells him at that time, "Charlie saved me from death after I drowned." So the doctor laughs and tells her that's impossible. Maybe you just fainted, because if you drowned and died, it's impossible to revive you. Here, Steve and Charlie look at each other like that and get shocked, because that means she didn't touch the living man again. And that means the curse is still there. And they get even more shocked when they hear the sound of the train and the crash that's happening. And it turns out the train has derailed and is destroying all the houses in front of it. causing chaos everywhere, and all the security's gone. The disaster is getting worse. Subscribe to the channel. That's what ruins everything. Oh, disaster. The important thing is, in the end, Stephanie and Charlie, the train hits them and their grandfather too, and they get on the 5:40 train. Charlie died, Stephanie died, the director died, the story died, and all the viewers died. I lost my mind, I lost my life, I lost my money, and I lost my silver. Man, what do you mean by your mother is dead? What's also strange is, why has the curse been dormant all these years and is only coming back now?